The companies are in no hurry to build any faster. Rev Group explained that once the city votes to spend the money, it's hard for them to cancel the order later. The customer is stuck and just needs to wait on the company to get around to build it. The money is allocated, so they feel good about that. That's a direct quote from their CEO explaining why his company is fine with the big backlogs on fire trucks. This company spends almost nothing on upgrading its facilities. An investor, a former investor, asked how the company can justify a backlog of $4 billion for trucks that put out fires and not spend any money to expand capacity so they can build them any faster. And the reason is that the market is not competitive. There's nowhere else for these cities and towns to go to get the equipment they need. In 2021, Watertown, New York bought a $1.2 million ladder truck and were told they could take delivery over a year later. They paid the money, then learned that the factory would shut down and it might come later this year, 4 years later. So they bought a used one, again over 20 years old, to manage the best that they could. Chicago, Seattle, Atlanta, these are big city fire departments and relying now on old equipment that break down frequently and they're out of commission frequently. Our firefighters are the first to see the problems, and the fire chiefs say that the public is at risk, and so are their firefighters. Previously, they could replace a part quickly by calling the factory, and it gets overnighted, shows up the next day. Now when they call, it takes months. Ladder trucks have almost doubled in price from 1.3 million to 2.3, and so Los Angeles is buying fewer of them, and they can't get replacement parts they need to repair the old ones. Then the fire started, they didn't have enough equipment to put out the fires, and the losses were over $50 billion. The writers on Substack led the way, then the New York Times followed up with their piece, and so our congressmen had no choice but to do their jobs. They sent a letter to the CEOs of these companies, and they want to find out what's going on. Jim Banks, Republican of Indiana, and Elizabeth Warren, Democrat of Massachusetts. Congratulations. There may be just 5 things in the whole world that these 2 senators in particular can agree on, but we found one. Right-wingers from the Midwest and left-wingers from the Northeast are intensely curious why it costs $2 million for Wall Street to build a big red truck that squirts water. And why, after paying the $2 million, does it take 4 years for one to build it? So the Senate's demanding answers to these questions here. The heads up on this story came to us from a viewer who sent me an email. John O'Keefe, here it is. I get a lot of emails, and I just don't have time to respond to most of them. And usually when I do, it's after a while, and I know that's rude. But my schedule's tight too. I need to go to Guangdong to do a final round of inspections there, then to Ningbo for capsule houses. In between those 2 is one to Heilongjiang for a factory that builds apartment buildings. Each of those visits is a week, and they all need to happen before 31 May. I also have 5 videos prepared with all the notes and charts, and I haven't had time to shoot them yet. And if this one here goes as I expect, I'll spend a lot of time in June and July with my guys learning how the Chinese build fire trucks so we can hurry some over before California burns down again. And on a personal note, my daughter just had a grandchild, my first, and it would be nice to meet her in person before she starts high school. And with all that, John O'Keefe here took about 30 seconds out of his life, copied and pasted 6 links for me to check out, thinking that I would be so enraged by what I found that our fire truck problem would go straight to the top of my to-do list. And he guessed right. When we talk about high tariffs and the trade wars and the import bans on products from China, we need to be real honest what it is we're talking about. Edward Kelly is the president of the International Association of Firefighters. Mr. Kelly and his buddies are the guys who risk their lives to put out fires and pull other people out. And he has a perspective that's firsthand and one that's literally life and death. And it turns out he's also a pretty good economist when he notes here that this whole industry is a monopoly. The manufacturing of the fire trucks and the ambulances that they need to do their jobs. It's monopoly capitalism. There is no competition, so nobody cares about keeping costs down, and nobody cares about doing the job better or faster. That is the cost. We pay more than 5 times more for the equipment than we have to. We wait more than 20 times longer to get it. And during that time, we have no choice but to hope our house doesn't catch fire, or our neighbor's house, or if it's a windy day, any house or tree within 5 miles, because there's nobody coming. This is Dali, Yunnan. Be good.